designing a program or figuring out what a program should include and how it should be put together, it all starts with the business problem that you're trying to solve. And you might not need to run a program at all. So for me, you start with a lot of really good questions or really good conversations with the business to really get to the bottom of what's the issue that we're tackling here. And I would always recommend fighting hard to get some data that you can actually work with, because you'll need that data, that before and after, to show whether the program or the initiative has actually made a difference anyway. And also, it will give you real clarity on what is the problem that you're trying to solve. So once you know what the impact you're trying to have, so what are the capabilities or behaviors or skills that you need in the future that you don't have today, figuring out and creating programs that will help to bring those skills, I find kind of relatively easy, because what I tend to try to do is to try to mirror the things that you're trying to build. So as an example, when I worked for Astellas and we were looking to move from a group of affiliates that operated in silos to becoming a true global organization, and we wanted global leaders that could think not only globally in a geographical sense, but throughout the value chain as well, what we did is we got them to practice those skills and those behaviors in real life problems. So we gave them some great taught input that helped them understand what it meant to be a global leader and what that looked like in Astellas. And then we actually gave them business related tasks to do in cross-regional, cross-functional teams. So they're actually executing some of the things that we were trying to develop. And it was tough, and acquiring new skills and capabilities can be tough. But they were learning, they were actually walking in the footprints that we needed them to walk in order to build skills. So one of the things I've used throughout my career when looking at diversity issues, be they kind of gender or ethnicity or other factors, is not necessarily building bespoke programs to help people from different backgrounds, but to ensure that when you build a great program, that you actively think about who gets to go on that program. And in the past, I've looked very much at building, pools of talent going into programs that reflect the diversity of the organization that I've been working with, and even going so far as to try to tip the balance in favor of unrepresented groups at senior levels, just to try to help to even the playing field a little bit. So not necessarily building specific programs, but really thinking about the mix of people that get to go on some of these programs. It's another color on the palette. So it's one of those things that if it's right to solve a problem that you're addressing, by all means use it. And I think, one of the things that's happened during the COVID-19 epidemic is people have got used to lots of the things that we thought were only possible face-to-face being done at distance. And I think we've all just got used to that. And whilst it might not be as good as being in the same room and you don't get all of the body language and it's a little harder to make connections, it's still a really, really valuable tool. So yeah, I would absolutely consider it. Would I always have it in there? Well, no, not necessarily. It would just depend on what it was that I was trying to achieve for the business. And one of the things I think that might be a sort of alternative or a substitute for that is peer-to-peer coaching. And in particular, the use of online networks and bringing people together that are going through a similar learning journey together, or people have the same sort of interest and want to develop the same kind of things, and let people learn from one another and learn from their own experiences. And that's not to say that's better than coaching or worse than coaching, but I think those two are quite nice alternatives to one another, and can both be really valuable assets when you're sort of bringing together your learning development solutions.